first gear or second, it just pulls. Oh my goodness. So hello people, this is Moscarblog and in front of me is a really special car because this is the new BMW M2. It was controversial at the start, but now everyone seems to like it. This car has the same 3.0 straight 6 by turbo from the M3 and M4 with a rear-wheel drive setup, making this really beautiful and gorgeous to drive. This car now, the new 2 Series, the new M2, is based off the 3 and 4 Series platform. It's not based on the 1 Series like the predecessor. So it's a much more serious and larger car, as you can see by the proportions. And it's now a serious M car. I drove that thing up here and it's really good driving it. This one here in front of me is fitted with M performance parts. For example, we can see the wheels here, the 20-inch at the front and the 21-inch rims at the back, so it can steer better. These are the biggest M performance tires for the M2, the G87 M2. We have the M performance front splitter starting up here and going through the whole of the front, and we also have the carbon intake. This car looks really good. It has a much more presence than an M240i, for example, and that car looked pretty good as well. It's much wider at the back. As you can see, we have these serious white arches here at the back, and it just has some serious presence to it. If we step back some steps, it doesn't look like a small car, but it has the right size for an M2, for an M car, for a sports car, and it drives super well. How do you like it in this black? Tell me about it. Some people dislike the front because the grille is like colored. As you can see, we only have these things on the inside. The kidney grille now is in body color. Some people dislike that at the front, but here in black you don't even notice it. And I think now it started to grow on me. And everyone's starting to love this M2 now, apparently. There's some being tuned, everyone is loving it. So this is the new BMW M2 and it's absolutely gorgeous. So let's move on to the side. In this review, I'll show you the exterior, the interior, and then take it for a drive, of course. So stay tuned for that. Let's move on to the side now. We have these 20-inch I mentioned. They look so good. The red steel brake on it. Actually the same suspension components like the M4, making this super serious. We have the M carbon side skirt here, the M performance. Just look at it. Just look at it, how it's formed. It's absolutely mental. We have the black M mirrors here, the optional carbon fiber roof fitted to this, and these beautiful 21-inch wheels here at the back, and this wide arch, much more wider than the M240i. Much more wider. So moving on to the back of this new beautiful M2 G87 with the M performance parts, we have the carbon fiber thing here, the whole carbon fiber diffuser there, M performance exhaust tips, and the M performance ducktail spoiler. Look how wide it is. You can see the arches, the lights in the arches. It's now clearly more wide and a much bigger, wider car. Just look at it, and it looks like a serious sports car from back here. It just has some amazing presence to it, this car, especially in real life. I don't know if you like it in pictures, but in real life it's such a good looking car. It's like a small little sports car, a little racer, and it's just so cool. It just looks so masculine. So people, I would suggest we'll now go inside, check out the inside, then get a sound check, and then take it out for a drive and get some sound and driving impressions. So people, moving on to the inside of the M2, we have this beautiful M color stripes here. This was also on the M240i, M2 doorstep, and these seats. We don't have the optional carbon buckets here, but we have the M sport seats with the M colors, which is actually a really nice detail. And these seats are super comfortable. They are not hard, not even 1%. They are super usable for the daily use. Super usable for daily driving. And this is our back space here. Of course, it's not the biggest. It's a 2 Series, it's an M2. But let's jump inside now. So people, on the inside of the new M2, we are greeted by this beautiful leather with carbon fiber steering wheel we know out of the M3 and M4. And the other M cars, it's such a nice steering wheel, especially these shift pedals. You can shift from down here and still works. It's so cool. We have the M1 in the menu for our tire pressures, Harman Kardon sound system. We can also change it to the sport display. I have to turn the car on and then we will get like an M specific gauge shutter. You will see that when I start driving. When we press the setup button, we can configure our engine, our suspension, our steering, and our brake, and also our M traction control if it's off. We have like 10 levels here of the traction control we can set for ourselves. We have the new BMW M center console here. This is actually identical to the M3 and M4. It looks super similar. We have the iDrive 8. It's just a nice interior to be here. The seat is super comfortable. Beautiful M stripes. These little things here. M seat belts. So now, let's get a sound check and take this thing out for a drive. I can't wait. Listen to it here now. What a bang! So people, starting off with driving the M2 in comfort mode on these B roads here. As I've mentioned, we have 20 inch at the front, 21 inches at the rear, which is a really big tire setup for the M2. But it's still it's actually okay to drive. It's not like super stiff or something like that. It's really good to drive. And in comfort, it's a daily driver. You can daily drive this easily. It's just a smooth car, comfortable. The gear shifts aren't clunky. It's just a super good daily driver in the comfort mode. And I can advise it to anyone who wants to get it. So the steering wheel is the one we all know and love, and the M3, M4 and stuff like that. It's just a perfect steering wheel, also super suiting for this car with the carbon here and the carbon shift pedals here. It's a really nice steering wheel. The iDrive 8 system, super modern. Also the same from the BMW M, just in a smaller screen, I think. And yeah, we've got some beautiful twisty roads now. So let's go in the M mode, put it into the sport. Now we have the different screen I told you about. Then we put the shift speed up to the third shift speed, and then it shifts really fast. Look. Now the gear shifts are aggressive. The transmission is now technically into the Sport Plus, but the rest of the car isn't, and I will put that now in a second. If we press here on the setup, now we press the Sport Plus for the engine, for our suspension, for our steering and our brakes, and we will give it some throttle on these beautiful B roads here. Full throttle. Oh my God! Whoa! The new M2 is so fast. It's literally M3, M4 levels fast. You don't feel a difference. And now we have to brake here. There's a little corner. Wow, this car is so fast, ladies and gentlemen. The pops and bangs are going off like crazy. Burbling all the time. So people, listen to the burbles and the pops and bangs of the M2. Are you hearing them? It's like a growl. Thunder growl. And let's floor it here. Whoa, wheel spin! What a fast, amazing vehicle this is. This is such an amazing sports car. Pops and bangs are going off all the time. Ladies and gentlemen, this car is your perfect car for these roads. It's just so lovely. Yeah, it's amazing. This car is literally such a good value for money. It starts at 89,000 euros. This is much less than the M4 competition. This thing now here, fully spec'd, is 108,000 euros. And the M4 fully spec'd is like 130,000 euros. So it's a significant price difference, but it's expensive for an M2. But this M2 is not like the old one. This is a true sports car. The old one was, of course, as well, but this one here is just, you feel it's better. It's much more serious, a much bigger car. Whoa! This thing is so fast, ladies and gentlemen. I will take it onto the Autobahn to see how this thing actually performs. Also the 100, 200 times. I love the agility of this. You don't feel the 1,700 kilograms of weight. It feels like a proper small sports car in here. And it's just so fun to drive. Wow. Pop, 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 all the time, all the time. Wow, the pops and bangs. And this car is so loud. It feels M3, M4 levels fast. It sounds M3, M4. It has the same engine. What do you want more? Also, that new ZF gearbox we have fitted to this is so suiting for this car. We don't have the dual clutch anymore like the old M2. We have the ZF 8-speed in here from the M3 and M4. And it just suits the character of this engine and this car. Just look at it now here. First gear or second, it just pulls. Oh my goodness. Just so fast. So people, what I can tell you for sure is that this car is the king of its class. It's so good and so dominant in its class that I'm starting to compare it to cars like the M3 and M4 and stuff like that. It's not even close to an RS3 or the 845S, which are its competitors in some way. It's way better than both and also faster. You will see that in my Autobahn video. And it's just so fun to drive, so agile. The rear wheel drive setup. This car always have traction. You are never scared of losing the back wheels. It's just such an amazing vehicle, this new M2 G87. And this isn't even the M2 competition or the M2 CS or whatever it's gonna come. So I think this M2 platform here will give us a lot of fun in the future, 100%. So people, let's now do a launch control of the new M2. Preparing, active. Oh, it hooked up great! Wow! That's on 100 already. This car is so fast. The launch control prepares in some kind of way that the ZF8 speed is preparing the launch control. It's nearly doing a burnout when it's preparing, but then you are let loose and you can floor it all the way. What I can also tell you about the new M2 is if it's in manual, you can press the kick down and it won't auto shift up or down, which is super nice in a manual mode. So people, after all we've seen today, the M2 seems like a great deal for a sports car, for a serious sports car. I think this is probably faster than the Porsche Cayman. It's just such a great car in its class. You have to know for yourself if you want to get it. The looks are really good in my opinion. It's something new, it's something seriously just unique. And the sound and the driving experience in here is super nice. 6 cylinders, 3.0, rear wheel drive. It's literally the best for a small little sports car, for a small little M car. So people, this was my review of the new BMW M2. I hope you enjoyed it and I hope I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.